Female genital mutilation is recognized internationally as a violation of the human rights of girls and women, but it is still being practiced in many African, Middle Eastern, and Asian countries, despite official bans. About 200 million women and girls alive today have undergone FGM. The largest share of them, 144 million, are in Africa. Now, FGM involves removing healthy and normal tissue from the female genitals. It is mostly carried out on girls between infancy and the age of 15. Many are left with both immediate and long-term complications. Treating these complications is estimated to cost health systems over $1 billion every year. Now, Gambia has one of the highest levels of FGM in the world. So it was a huge victory for activists when the country banned it in 2015. But now, barely a decade later, the ban could be overturned. Gambia's parliament is due to vote on a bill that will reverse the ban. Now, that prospect has alarmed health and human rights activists in the Gambia and worldwide. DW's Aminata Sanyang sent us this report from Banjul.
It's a traditional belief.
Fatima Jaju is leading a discussion about female genital mutilation, FGM. It's classic grassroots activism against the practice, but it's a difficult conversation.
I am a survivor. I still remember some of the things that happened to me when I was taken as a young girl. And even this conversation is very disturbing.
She's been a women's rights activist for a long time on various issues, but now her focus is to try to save the FGM ban.
It is important that you hear from different generations and also see a way of trying to work with others collectively and try to convince maybe those that are from the opposing side to understand that it is not about power and it's not also about Western ideologies. But it is an issue that women and girls are faced with. And now that people have realized that FGM is an issue, and it is affecting a lot of people.
Situation of FGM in the Gambia currently.
Activists against FGM continue to talk with people in communities after the ban was enacted because it didn't stop people from carrying out the practice. But many have never stopped working against the ban.
And those who want the ban lifted obviously include the circumcisers, the women who carry out the ceremonial cutting. We approached 4 such women for this report, but none would talk on camera because what they do is illegal at the moment. Here in Parliament, though, lawmakers are happy to explain why they want to repeal the ban.
National Assembly member Almame Jiba is at the forefront of the movement seeking to repeal the ban.
I fight for the rights of the vulnerable people, and I fight for the right of Muslims, and I fight for the right of people who believe in the tradition. That this law came in 2015, unguided. It was a self-imposed thing, a self-proclamation by the president. The parliament took it and enhanced it as a law without proper consultation.
Circumcision ceremonies like these are popular across the country. They are regarded as important cultural events. Many also say FGM is a Muslim religious practice, but not all imams agree.
Some are trying to justify it, saying it's a religious practice, which is not true. It has nothing to do with religion, because it never increases your Islamity, it never decreases your Islamity. As a Muslim, you are a Muslim. It is harmful, that is well recognized by all international organizations, by local doctors. It has been proven beyond all doubt. And anything harmful to a human being cannot be accepted Islamically and cannot be tolerated and should not be tolerated.
Fatima says she is pretty sure the ban will remain. But her work continues to make FGM socially unacceptable, regardless of the law.
And now to talk more about what it would mean if the FGM ban were to be reversed in the Gambia, we have invited Dr. Wisal Ahmed onto the show. She is the global coordinator of the UN program on the elimination of female genital mutilation. Welcome to DW News Africa, Dr. Ahmed. We see activists in the Gambia still working to convince people to stop practicing FGM. Why is it proving difficult to get all communities on board to ending female genital mutilation?
It is difficult because Gambia, as you know, the FGM prevalence is pretty high. 3 out of 4 girls have undergone FGM, and the last survey shows that about half of the population is supportive of FGM continuation. So there is a lot of FGM proponents for FGM continuation at the moment.
And I do want to get into more about those reasons a little later, but let's talk about the ban that the Gambia adopted on FGM in 2015. What has this ban achieved?
Gambia was successful in having the ban, but it has taken them about 9 years to enforce it. It was a good foundation to have FGM interventions to be implemented, but the law itself was not enforced. And it was only last year that it was enforced, and it triggered a movement to challenge this law. But it was not enforced since then.
So what will it mean for young girls in the Gambia if that ban on FGM is overturned?
We are quite concerned. Should this repeal be successful, because it would be a loss for the country's political commitment and foundations for the existing interventions that we are conducting. So the girls who are there would be at a higher risk to undergo FGM. As it is, there is a large burden. About there's an estimated of 1 million girls who have undergone FGM, and there would be more. And moreover, the costs of the treatment of FGM is also estimated at $5 million annually. That is truly preventable. We are not only concerned about the ramifications of this law repeal in the Gambia, but we are also worried that it would have a ripple effect in the region and globally.
Dr. Ahmed, those who advocate for FGM, the proponents of FGM, argue that there is a double standard because it's widely accepted for boy children to be circumcised, for example. Does this argument hold merit?
Yes, I was in the Gambia about 2 weeks ago, and they do. In fact, one of the justifications for the law repeal is to maintain cultural and religious rights. But these rights should not supersede the rights to freedom from cruelty, from violence, from health, from security, from dignity. And FGM, as you know, is a violation to all these rights. There is no health benefit to FGM as a cultural practice. It's on the contrary, it leads to several health complications.
Yeah, and it appears that the only sort of instrument there is are the bans, which, as the numbers reveal, are not working really well, because even when there is a ban, as in the case of the Gambia, FGM is still being forced on young girls. So clearly the bans are not enough on their own. What will it take to put an end to FGM?
You are correct, and the evidence also supports this. In fact, the laws are ineffective without community buy-in and acceptance. In fact, 6 studies have shown that FGM, the criminalization or the legalities around it may drive FGM underground. But FGM prevalence, in itself, the high FGM prevalence reflects a deeply social a deep social norm that is supported by many members of the communities, which make it very difficult for the communities to report on their parents, their mothers, their fathers, and there are no social protection systems to take them in. So it's quite challenging to use the laws as the only way to end FGM, and it's really the community buy-in to the laws that would drive to end it.
Yeah, and Dr. Ahmed, when you talk about this community buy-in, one obviously has to approach this issue with sensitivity, given the fact that it's rooted in tradition and religion, as you're implying. So what are some of the nuances that people need to understand when you're engaging communities, trying to get that buy-in to be able to stop this practice that is so harmful to young girls?
Yes, we have been working through governments, through civil societies, through activists, religious leaders, to have dialogues with the parents, to work with religious leaders and involving other players like health workers, health educations, using media like what you are using today and social marketing to challenge the norms and the attitudes. But this all should be done in a nuanced, respectful and culturally sensitive approach, having at the center of it the people themselves leading these initiatives and championing it. And these efforts are not one-off or ad hoc basis. They have to be a continuous engagement with the community on a long-term basis.
Dr. Wisal Ahmed, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.